so you're for stoning the gays?
Yes, Rob, I'm a very proud racist. I'm very infamous on the internet. I'm the only guy was able to ever debunk evolution, and that's the reason they want to get rid of me. Rob, do you think being a midget's good?
Has Sunflower told anyone about this information?
He's too dumb to grasp the implications of the information I've given him. What causes people to be midgets?
Just say, yes, you're right, but let me explain why. Go ahead.
Yes, you're right, but let me explain why.
Say that one more time for the audience to hear. What's up, Bubblegum Gun? Can you hear me?
So what the guy was discussing earlier, I think what he's trying to get at, it's a question of worldview. So how does one justify their worldview? For example, you can be for democracy, and that's all fine and good, but you have to have a way to provide a justification as to why we ought to have a democracy. For example, Andrew Wilson justifies his worldview of being a Christian nationalist, even though it's an oxymoron. He justifies that through God because, he's a Christian. So that's the way he justifies his worldview. So how do you justify your worldview there, Rob, of whatever government you want to choose?
I justify it by saying we should prioritize personal freedom and liberty, and that our government should be as limited as possible. Now, I'll grant you, right? I'll grant you this, that the problem will be if you don't say that our laws should be crafted by a higher power, that you'll always get to a point where it's like, yes, but isn't it partially subjective? Yes. So, for example, you could say, well, if you're against laws, if you want laws against murder, wouldn't that mean that you're infringing on someone's right to murder someone else? That you're using government authoritarianism to prevent that? Yes. I'm saying it's a starting point, though, that we start from the assumption that people should basically be allowed to do what they want until they start to physically harm other people. And then we go from there and we talk about the things that are disagreements on what exactly that means. But that's where we should start and where my worldview comes from.
Well, that's where we should start? No,
Yes.
not exactly. That's not where we should start. That's where your preference, you think we should start.
Yes, that's my preference is where we should start. Your preference may be different, but that is my preference where we should start.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's just a preference. You're
Right.
You're not justifying your preference.
I am justifying my preference.
How are you justifying your preference?
I'm justifying my preference because I think that there are people that we could deem are reasonable people or good people, and there are people that we could deem bad people or immoral. Okay, let's use the word morality. There are people that we
wait.
Go ahead. Let's go with the sophistry. Go ahead. Justify your morality. Where's your morality come from?
Wait.
Where's
Rob,
your Where's your morality come from? Go ahead.
Rob,
Go
I'm
ahead.
not making moral claims
Where's
here.
your morality come from? Go ahead.
Rob, I'm not making moral claims.
Okay, you're not making moral claims, but I'm asking you. I've outlined my framework. I've outlined my framework. We'll go quid pro quo. We'll go quid pro quo. You've asked me to outline mine. I've answered your position. Now I'm asking yours. Then you could ask me a question. That's how we'll do it. Quid pro quo.
Sure.
Okay. So your moral claims. How would you start with a system of government? Where are the moral underpinnings for what you believe we should do?
Yeah, for my underpinnings, I'm a theist. So I'm a theocrat.
Okay.
So you're gonna say you're a theocrat too, right?
No.
Oh, so you don't believe in God?
No, I do believe in God, but theocrat would assume.
No.
Theocrat, if I'm understanding the term correctly, would mean I believe that
Ruled by
laws of the country should come from God.
No, it means do you follow the law of God? Not that you follow.
Well, I can follow the law of God, but the question is,
it doesn't mean what you're saying. It doesn't mean that you
then
follow.
I believe that I should follow the laws of God as I interpret what the laws of God are. It is a separate question as to whether or not that should be the laws of our country.
Well, yeah. So if you're gonna follow the laws of God, that means we stone the gays. So are you okay with stoning the gays?
No, I'm not okay. I'm not okay with stoning the gays. I'm okay with
God. So which God are you following there, Rob?
Okay, which God are you following? I've answered your questions. Which God are you following?
I'm following the ultimate.
Okay, and who's the ultimate? Are they okay with stoning the gays? Can you show me? Yeah, so you're for stoning the gays?
Yes.
Okay, well, I disagree with you and think you're a disgusting monster.
Rob, that's a great feeling of yours, but you're not telling me why we not ought stone the gays when you yourself.
Because murdering someone for consensual acts that adults are taking is grotesque. I am a Christian. That's correct.
Yeah, your God says stone the gays.
I don't believe so.
It does.
I don't care. Then leave God stone them. I'm not going to.
So it's whatever you feel then, Rob.
That is absolutely correct. Yes.
Well, I win the debate then.
No, you don't win the debate because you want to stone
Right.
people. You want to stone people for consensual sexual acts.
Based on what, Rob? Based on the God, right?
That's fine. It could be based on what. It could be based on whatever you want. I don't give a shit. You may have a good justification.
I have justification.
For doing so.
You don't.
I do have justification. My
No,
justification is my justification is that I think that our government should be limited. Our laws should be limited to allow people to do what they want until they physically harm other people.
That's your preference.
That's my preference. That is absolutely my preference. That is absolutely I am providing the justification. The justification for that is I believe that you should be allowed to have as much autonomy over yourself as possible until you harm other people physically.
That's your preference.
That's my justification. Yeah, that is my justification. My justification is that you should be allowed to do what you want until you harm other people.
Okay, Rob. Okay, you're telling me that your preference is that you ought to do whatever you want until you harm other people, and then I'm asking you, what's your justification for that?
My justification is that the world is a better place, and that you have more autonomy over yourself when you're allowed to take actions that aren't limited by the government until you harm other people. Yeah. Now let's talk. So can you give us your real name as someone who wants to stone gay people? Go ahead.
Oh, I would, but
go ahead. No, please, give us your real name because you don't know. You're so listen, please hear me out. Mm-hmm. You're so clear in your conviction. It is clearly the morally virtuous thing to do. You don't want to hide behind a cloak of anonymity with your strong Christian beliefs, correct? So tell us, what's your real name? Where's your place of work?
Look, I'll come on stream. I'll show my face.
Yeah, that sounds great. And give us your real name, your place of work, etc. Unless you're hiding something. Why would you hide?
Rob.
Wait. Where's your moral fortitude? Where's your moral fortitude?
Yeah, I get that from God.
You're shameful. You get it from God, and yet you're ashamed. You're ashamed to speak His name,
Rob.
to speak what His law should be. You're ashamed. Rob. You have to hide behind anonymity. Why?
Rob, I'm a very proud racist.
You're racist. That's great. You're racist. You want to stone gay people. Great. What's your name?
Rob, it's that other people are after me. It's not that you're
not the only one who's God will protect you. Why do you care if other people are after you? The law of God's all that matters.
Rob, it's not as simple as you think. There are other forces beyond just human forces.
No. That sounds like your preference. But the only law that matters is that of the ultimate, correct?
Yes.
Okay, Rob, then why are you concerned? Why are you concerned about human forces?
Rob, I have a target on my back. I'm very aware.
God will protect you, or He won't, and you'll end up with God. You're clearly doing the will of God. Rob, why are you worried about having a target on your back?
Rob, you're not the only person. I'm very infamous on the internet.
I don't give a shit that you're infamous. Is God proud of you?
But why?
Is God proud of you?
Rob,
is God proud of you?
Rob, you got to know why.
Wait. Why are you hiding from this question? Is God proud of you?
Yes, He is.
Then why do you care what humans think of you? Rob, it sounds like this is the same criticism that you would offer of people that you think are bad Christians. It sounds like moral cowardice on your part. That's what it sounds like.
Rob, you lost the argument.
I did not lose the argument.
This is just
I might be a self-identified bad Christian, but I'm not someone touting that I'm really like a soldier of God that's too much of a moral coward to tell us who you really are.
If this ad hominem attacks.
It's not an ad. How is that ad hominem?
You're calling me a coward, dude.
I'm saying you've lost the argument because you've engaged in
an active... No, I didn't. I won.
You did not win. You've lost the argument because you are a moral coward in the face of God. You are unwilling to proudly share the word of God without hiding behind a cloak of anonymity.
I just did.
What's your name?
Rob.
Oh, so you are doing it from a cloak of anonymity.
No, Rob.
Well, then what's your name? You can't say no.
I'm trying to get there, man.
Okay, well then give us your name, your address, your place of employment, and then you can expound on it. No problem.
Okay, the reason I'm infamous on the internet, let me start there, please.
No. Why don't you start with your name, your location, your place of work?
Yeah, let me give you my social security.
I don't need that.
Look, I'll show my face.
That's not so you're unwilling. So what you're going to do is you're not going to answer the question. What you're going to do is explain why you won't answer the question. That's what you're going to do. You're going to say, Rob, I'm very infamous, and there are people out to get me, and blah, blah, blah. So you're claiming that, yes, you will answer, you'll stop being anonymous, but you won't. You're not going to.
I'm trying to show my face, man.
Showing your face isn't the same as showing your name, your location, your place of work.
Rob, look, I'm infamous for a reason.
What does that have to do? You're only willing to speak the truth of God behind a cloak of anonymity. Just admit that. Just admit, yes, I will only say this stuff on the condition that my real name remain anonymous. Just admit it. Admit it. Just admit. Just say, yes, you're right, but let me explain why. Go ahead.
Yes, you're right, but let me explain why.
Say that one more time for the audience to hear. Yes, I'm right. That you are too much. You will only speak the word of God while being anonymous.
No, I'm willing to show my face.
Showing your face, it doesn't mean that you're not being anonymous. Showing your face. Why are you so? If you're so willing, if you're claiming that you don't need to be anonymous, then why not just give your name? I'm showing my face, but if I didn't give my name, you still wouldn't know who I was. But I'm telling you, my name's Rob Knorr. So you're just lying.
I can't be anonymous and show my face.
You're lying.
I'm not lying.
You're lying when you're saying that you don't need anonymity, and your reason is, but I'll show my face. That's still, you still are, that's not true at all. That's not true at all. You're still anonymous in the sense that you're not giving your real name. That's the criticism.
I'm not anonymous, but my name is anonymous.
Right. So you're only willing to speak the word of God through the cloak of anonymity.
No, I'm not, Rob.
Then why won't you give your real name?
Rob.
Why won't you give your real name? Why won't you?
I'm trying to give you that why. It's the reason I am not. The reason I'm anonymous is the same reason I'm infamous. You have to know the reason why I'm infamous on the internet. It's because I'm the only guy in the whole freaking wide world was able to ever debunk evolution, and that's the reason they want to get rid of me.
You're the only one, man.
I'm the only one. Yes. Rob, you don't understand how important this is.
Yeah,
Rob, you don't understand.
No, I remember. Hey, man, I remember when I was in college and I had to take all these woke courses. All of my biology courses had the name Bubblegum Gun. He's the only one. We can't beat him. Rob. Damn, we need to find his real name.
Yes, Rob, they're trying to get rid of me. I know the way
they're trying to get rid of you. And yet you're afraid. You're afraid. That's funny. I know a lot of people that spoke the word of God, but they're willing to put their real name out there.
Rob, do you know
they don't have to hide behind anonymity?
Rob, do you know evolution has its origins in Christianity?
Okay.
This is why.
What does that have to do with why you will only say this from a cloak of anonymity?
Okay. If you understand that evolution has its origins in Christianity, this means Christianity can never debunk evolution, right?
Okay, so what's that have anything to do with the discussion I'm having right now? Why are you only willing to say these great truths under the cloak of anonymity?
I'm not anonymous. People have seen my face.
What's your name?
Rob. It's John. How about you can have my first name there, John.
Why won't you give your last name? It's because you want to have some amount of anonymity, correct?
No, it's because they're trying to kill me, man.
Who's trying to kill you?
Rob.
Who's trying to kill you?
Rob, let me lay down.
Who's trying to kill you?
Rob, let me down. Yeah, I'm going to tell you.
Just, tell me, and then you could go on your rant about evolution. Who is it that's trying to kill you?
No. Let me go on the rant, and then I'll tell you why it's important, because you're not going to listen.
Why don't you tell me who's trying to kill you first?
I'll tell you who's trying to kill me, but you have to listen, because I know you're not going to win.
Why don't you start by telling me who's trying to kill you?
Rob.
I'm just going to boot you off the stream if you're unwilling to answer even the most obvious questions.
I already won the debates.
I don't care if you thought you won the debate. Your opinion is irrelevant to me. I'm asking you a question. Who is it that's trying to kill you? Who is it that's trying to kill you?
Your preferences justify.
Who is it that's trying to kill you?
What a great argument there.
Who is it that's trying to kill you?
Rob, the same people who are trying to keep evolution alive.
So who are those people?
You know them.
Who?
Well, okay, Rob. If evolution is... Rob, let me get that.
You just said I know them. Who? Answer the question.
Okay, Rob, who puts evolution in the books that go to schools?
There's probably people There's probably people from this like horrible peer review bullshit.
Government, right?
It's not just government, but certainly government has part of it. Yeah.
Okay. Does government kill people?
So the government's trying to kill you.
Rob, yes, because I'm a threat to them.
So the government's trying to kill you.
Why?
But they don't know your real name.
I'm sure they're after me.
Okay, well, if they already know your real name, what's the harm of saying it here?
Rob, it's that I'm a threat to them. As long as
the government, can you tell me what specific branch of government? Is it people like in our intel agencies? Is it people through our law enforcement agencies? Who is it in the government that's trying to kill you?
Rob, who puts evolution in the books?
I would say that it's a conflagration of people, right?
The
It's
government
the people,
included, right?
The government would be included through the Department of Education. So it's
so
the
if the
Department of
government-
Education that's trying to kill you?
So if the government has an interest to keep evolution in the books, do they not have an interest to keep people unalive, those who wish to remove evolution from the books?
I don't think that the government's specifically trying to kill some anonymous shit poster online like you, no. And I think if you have risen to the, I think if you have risen, I think if you have risen to that level of threat from the government, then they're probably already know your name anyways. And so then there would be no need to hide that from a discussion with someone like me.
It's the potential threat that I am.
The potential threat to you. So does the government know your name or not?
Maybe they do.
Okay, then what's the harm in saying it?
Rob, that's the problem. I'm not trying to get killed. I'm not suicidal.
So then you're saying there's a solid chance that the government specific. Now, I just want to get this clear. Your argument is you're the only person in the world that could debunk evolution, and the government is out to kill you because you are that unique person in the world that's capable to do this. But this evil government that wants to kill you, they're somehow not powerful enough to know what your real name is.
It's because I'm not a threat yet.
But wait a minute, you just said that you're literally the only person in the world that could debunk, so they don't know that yet.
They know. I'm sure.
So they do know, then you would be a threat. Don't you think you just gave the rationale for why? If the government's putting this stuff in our books, wouldn't it be a threat if there's one person in the world that could debunk it all?
Rob, so if the government's putting the evolution in the books, right? It has an interest to keep evolution in the books.
That's true. Then why aren't you a threat right now? You just said you're not a threat.
I'm a potential threat.
Okay, but you're not a current threat. But they know you, and they know you're the only person in the world.
I don't know if they know me. I don't know if they know me.
You said you're infamous.
I'm infamous on the internet.
So people on the internet that would have the ability to, that clearly are interested in protecting the concept of evolution, you're infamous, so much so that you have to remain you have to remain anonymous. But they haven't informed the government that's in charge of putting evolution in the books that you exist, and are out there just shaming single-handedly the only person in the world that could debunk evolution.
Rob, if I'm able to get evolution off the books, they have to kill me.
Okay, so then they would know that you're a threat.
Look, if I become a threat to the point that I'm able to get evolution off the books, the government has to come and kill me. They have to
so then here's where we're at. The government knows, and people know, that you're the only guy in the world that has the potential to beat their arguments on evolution. But they're not targeting you right now because you haven't got the headwinds to get your message out there. Maybe, let me give you some advice. Perhaps instead of shitposting online, if you would put a name to your face and go out there and put on a suit and tie and actually go out and talk as a reasonable person, not talking about stoning the gays, and instead make these great arguments about debunking evolution, maybe then, instead of becoming a potential threat to evolution, you would actually become the thing that brings it down instead of shitposting online.
Rob, your God is for stoning the gays, so I don't see the problem.
That's fine. You could say my God's for stoning the gays. I don't give a shit. We're talking about you right now. Why are you only willing to say that under the cloak of anonymity?
I'm not.
Be ye hot or cold, but if you're lukewarm, I'll spat you from my mouth. Why are you only willing to say these truths under the cloak of anonymity?
Rob, I'm not anonymous. It seems
what happens is that you're either fearful or wanting to participate in secular society to get the benefits from them that are waged in sin. Because because you either want to participate.
Oh yeah, I definitely want to nuke the Muslims. Yeah, I'm totally trying to kill the Muslims. No, I'm not trying to kill the Muslims.
What the fuck does that have anything to do with what I said? You're currently interested in keeping your position in a secular society much so that you're unwilling to say the truths. You're unwilling to say the truths of God using your real name. Andrew Wilson uses his real name. Right?
Andrew Wilson is a cultural Christian. He just wants power.
Okay.
He just wants to rule over
But at least he attaches his real name to his opinions.
At least he sticks to his values. At least he's willing to stone the gays, unlike you.
That might be true. I don't think that is true, actually. I've asked him, he doesn't even think homosexuality should be illegal. So I doubt that he would advocate for stoning them.
That's pretty weak of him, then.
Well, Mr. Anonymous Internet Tough Guy, you could call into his show and tell him he's weak. But at least Andrew Wilson's willing to be public about what he believes. He doesn't have to hide behind the cloak of anonymity. So for someone who's so strong in the Word of God, one of God's strongest soldiers, literally the only person in the world that could beat back the demonic forces that are pushing evolution, yet you'll only do so as a shitposter online. You won't do so with your real name. Why is that?
Rob, that's because Andrew Wilson is not a threat to the theory of evolution.
What does that have anything to do with the criticism I just made to you?
Yes,
it doesn't matter if you're a threat or not.
Yes,
you're saying that you are unwilling to advocate openly for the Word of God if it comes to possible self-harm to yourself. That sounds like cowardice to me.
Cowardice? I'm not dumb.
That sounds like cowardice.
No, it's not. I'm not stupid.
So you're willing to deny Christ. You're willing to deny God for your own personal safety.
Rob, it's not that I'm denying God. It's that I know how to play the game.
So explain to me how playing the secular game is godlike. Explain to me how that's Christian.
It's not that I'm playing the circular game, Rob.
I didn't say circular. I said secular.
Secular, my bad. It's not that I'm playing the secular game. It's that I have to get this information out before I die. That's well understood, right?
So wouldn't the best way to do that not be to put your name out there and not be an internet shit poster?
Exactly. It's by not being dead.
So your argument is if you gave your name right now, the government would kill you.
No, it's that I could become a potential threat. And if they see me as a potential threat, they will kill me.
If they see you as a potential threat, they're going to find your name anyways. Are you unaware of the surveillance tools that they have? Yes. You're literally right now, they could probably just through voice analysis be able to find out who you are.
Maybe, Rob, but okay. I'm not trying to go to an early grave.
Okay, so then let me get this straight. You have this mission from God that's so important that you have to deny.
What else would be important?
You have to deny in your real life with your real name.
What else would be more important,
Let me finish. In your real life, with your real name in your real job or whatever you do, you can't discuss this very important mission from God that you have been given the task of being the only person in the world that can debunk evolution. Let me finish. The only person in the world that could debunk evolution. You've been given this important mission. And yet so therefore you can't say your name. You can't do any of that because it's so important to get that mission out. Yet you risk coming onto a show like mine with only 150 people watching and putting material out there that could identify you, thereby destroying your mission from God. And for what? To come on and tell me that you think I'm a bad Christian because I don't want to stone gays?
Rob, first of all, what's more important than God? Nothing, right?
Right,
Nothing.
So then why are you so fearful of the secular world?
Yeah, great, Rob.
Why are you so fearful? Yep, got it. Why are you so fearful of the secular world? Won't your soul go to heaven anyways? If they do murder you for speaking the truth? Can you show me in the Bible where it says, be unwilling to speak the truth if you are worried about secular concerns? Can you show me that?
Look, Rob, I get it. You want to live in the secular world.
Point to the passage.
Want to live with the gays.
Is that New Testament or Old Testament? What book is that from?
Well, I'm an Old Testament person myself.
Okay, so can you show me in the Old Testament where it says, be unwilling to speak the word of God if you are fearful?
Rob,
can you show me where it says that? You just said that the secular world doesn't matter. All that matters is God. So then why be fearful? Won't he protect
what am I doing? What am I doing right now?
You're through cowardice and anonymity, you're willing to spread
I'm
the message
one
of God,
who's willing to get canceled.
No, you're not.
Willing to say,
what's your name?
Stone the gays.
What's your name?
Rob, I'm willing to show my face.
You're showing your face is nothing. Wouldn't that be another tool that the government could use to identify you?
Yes, Rob.
So you're willing to jeopardize your mission from God, where you're the only person in the world that could debunk evolution, and you're willing to come on my show, and you're even willing to show your face, knowing that that would all be but a dead giveaway, that once the government realizes you are on this mission from God, that you're the only person capable of destroying their demonic evolution narrative. You're willing to risk all of that, but you won't give your name. It sounds if I may, can I tell you what's really going on with you? Can I? Would you like to listen?
Well, Rob, I'm
having fun toying with you, but
Rob, I've been doing nothing but listening and just hearing you get triggered.
It's not that I'm triggered. I'm dealing with a narcissist. I'm dealing with a narcissist.
How ironic.
That's what I'm dealing. I'm dealing with someone who thinks they're the most important person in the world.
When did I say I was important, Rob?
You said you're the only. Is your mission from God? Is your mission from God to end evolution important? Didn't you say? Let me finish. Just yes or no will suffice. Didn't you say that the most important thing is getting your mission from God out there to debunk evolution?
Let me explain. Can I explain why?
Is that important or not?
Let me explain.
Is that important or not?
I'm going to give you a yes or no.
Okay, then give it, and then you can explain.
Yes.
Okay.
Now let me
Sure,
explain.
Go ahead and explain.
Okay. Here, I need you to understand the fundamentals of evolution. Evolution is.
I have no interest in you discussing the fundamentals of evolution.
It's important.
I don't need to listen to you ramble.
You don't. I don't. You're not gonna ramble.
I'm not. That's irrelevant to the discussion we're having.
You don't
want
to listen.
It's irrelevant to discuss. Okay, you got 20 seconds. You got 20 seconds to explain why evolution is bullshit. Go ahead.
I'm not gonna. The reason it's important is because when we're taught in evolution is mutation plus time. It's generation. But what is mutations, Rob? They're errors in the DNA code. Now, if we all have DNA mutations over generations, including you, Rob, including your children, what's going to happen to all the population of the world? They're going to go kaput, genius. They're all going to go fucking dead. So what I'm trying to do, it's not for fucking me, dude. I'm trying to save the fucking civilization by stopping a mutational catastrophe. These mutations are gonna steamroll. They're gonna accumulate them in the populations of all generations. You can see this in India already. The mutations in India, they're killing their whole civilization. They're turning people retarded. Autism is just a low-level mutation that are popping up. Autism,
okay,
the 19.
Cool.
I'm not.
Okay.
No,
so
Rob, you don't want to listen.
So you've explained. So the question I had. So
Rob, this is important. As important as it gets. This is world ending.
So let's see how we got there. I said, isn't what you're doing very important? You're like, I never said
I was. It's the most important.
Right. So you just said before that the reason we got onto this line of question, you said, I never said I'm important. And I said, but didn't you say...
It's not about me, Rob.
Okay, it's not about you, but you're the only... You just outlined why ending the concept of evolution is so important to save the human race. Yes or no? Didn't you just say that?
It's a fact, isn't it, Rob?
Okay, then you said yes, that is important to save the human race. And
is it not,
didn't you
is
say...
Is it not, Rob?
Didn't
is it
you
not,
just say...
Is it not important to save the human...
I disagree.
The human race is not important. The human race is not important.
I disagree.
All you disagree to say the human race is not important.
I'll just mute you. That's not what I'm disagreeing. I disagree with your concept of evolution and what you're saying about it. But I am admitting that you, if you were right about it, then yes, saving the human race would be important, and you're the only person that could do it.
Mutations are detrimental. They kill the human race.
You're changing the subject. What I said was, I'm just going to start muting you. I'm just going to start muting you, right? What the conversation, the direction it was going was, I said, why are you willing, if you're so important to the human race and to God, why are you willing to jeopardize it by putting your face out there and something like me? You said, where did I ever say I'm important? I said, okay, let's break it down into the following steps. I said, let's break it down in the following steps. 1, is the mission important? And you said, oh, blah, 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 and you hemmed and hawed until finally you basically said, yes, it's the most important thing. Then step 2 is, aren't you the only person that could succeed in that mission? Which you've already admitted. Yes. So you are saying that it is your mission to completely save the human race and only you could do it. Which means when you said, I never said I'm important, you're full of shit. That was you lying, which, by the way, is very sinful as well, to get out of the topic that I had because you don't have an answer to that. So seeing as how you're the only person in the world that could save the human race, and the government's trying to kill you, or they will try to kill you once they find out that you're the only person that can save the human race, why are you willing to jeopardize that by coming on and shitposting and putting your face out there?
I'm not the only person who can save the human race. It's about the information that I bring.
You're the only person that could save the human race on this particular topic. That's what you said. You said you're. Do you want to go back? You said you're, quote, the only person that could debunk evolution. You said you're the only one. That's what you said.
No, Rob, hear me out. I'm the only person who has debunked evolution so far.
Okay, so there are others potential out there, but the only one that has successfully done it is you.
Yes.
And the government, and so does the government know that or not? Does the government know that or not? Because that clearly makes you one of the most important people in the world.
Rob, the government knows evolution is bullshit.
It doesn't matter. Do they know that you're the only person that is debunked?
It's very important.
It doesn't matter. Well, for the sake of argument, I'll say, yeah, the government knows. And you're the only person that's been able to debunk it, correct?
if government is pro increasing the amount and mutations in the populations, this means they're against humanity.
Cool. It sounds like you're saying that makes you a very important person.
No.
So you're not important. So the government has this agenda. The government has this government has this agenda to increase mutations that will destroy the human race. And the only person who has successfully argued against it is you. But you're not important.
Rob, is it a fact that mutations will destroy the human race?
No, I don't believe it is.
Oh, you don't think so? You
what
think
does it matter? What does it matter?
Rob,
my answer to that question. What does that matter? My answer to that question is I could say I don't know. For the sake of argument, let's say yes. I agree with everything you're saying. That would make you a very important person. You're the only person in the world that has given the information that could save the human race.
So great. If you agree that information I'm saying,
I don't agree.
Correct,
I'm saying for the sake of argument, I could agree.
Well, for the sake of argument,
now what you're doing here is, and this is something that narcissists would quite frequently do. You can't argue the point. I'm making a point. I'm like, wow, you're this very important person that the government's going to try to kill, and you're like, no, I'm not important. And I'm like, but you're the only person that's debunked this. You said, and it's very important information that would save the human race. And you're like, but isn't it? Isn't it very important? Wouldn't it save the human race? Yeah, that's what you're saying. My argument is, yeah, great, you're right. You're the only person who has given this information that could save the human race. So why are you showing your face again on a stream with 150 people knowing the government's trying to kill you?
Rob, I'm only important because I bring the information.
You are important. Rob, are important, which was what my argument was.
Rob, let me finish my sentence. If you were to bring the same information that I'm bringing, you would have the same, importance. You're only important because we bring that information, and the information that I'm bringing is correct.
So you've given this information before, correct?
The whole crux of this information.
You've given this information before, correct? That's why you're infamous online, correct?
Yes. The problem is...
Okay, then why haven't other people also given this information?
Because we went over it. Andrew Wilson is an evolutionist. He's not going against...
Okay, that's one person. How many people have you given this information to?
All Christians are evolutionists.
Okay, so you've given this information to all Christians, but they're all evolutionists and they want humanity to die.
Where do you think the origins of evolution came from?
No, I don't give a shit. That's irrelevant to the point we're talking about. You keep going with red herrings. It doesn't matter. What I'm saying is, you're saying you're not an important person. All that's important is the information you have. But you're also admitting
the information that I carry.
Right. I understand the need to interrupt because you know that you're not making a sensible point. So you're saying this information is important. You're also saying I'm not strawmanning you. We'll go one by one. You're only allowed to answer with yes, no, or I'll boot you. Ready?
Go ahead.
That's not yes or no. Let's try again. Ready?
Yeah. Yes or no? Yes.
Okay. One. Is the information you've already given the information that could save humanity?
Yes.
You're the only person that's given that information.
Come again?
You're the only person that has given that information.
No, actually, ask the first question again. I didn't hear it.
The information that you're given is important to save humanity.
Yes.
You're the only person who's given that information.
Given?
You're the person who's discovered that information.
Yes.
You have given this information to other people online.
Yes, but they rejected it.
So no one has accepted it.
No, because they all have an interest in evolution.
So then that would make you a very important person then, right? Because despite the fact that you speak the truth to everyone, there is no one whatsoever that has accepted the information you're giving. Is there one person in the world that has accepted the information you're giving?
Whether they accept my information or not doesn't change the information is correct.
I would agree in theory that's absolutely true. That's not the question, though. The question is, has anyone accepted it?
I would say some. Sunflower, for example.
Sunflower's accepted it. Has Sunflower told anyone about this information?
He's too dumb to grasp the implications of the information I've given him.
So you could only come up with one person that accepts the information that you've given.
Look, it doesn't matter if random people on the internet get it. Right?
Okay, you've only come up with one person that's accepted the information, but you're admitting that they're too dumb to be able to impart this information to other people, correct?
No, they're too dumb to grasp the implications.
Okay, so they understand it, but they don't grasp the implications of it, which leads to them not sharing this information with other people.
Okay. The information is that the information that I'm bringing is that mutations are increasing in the population. These mutations
This is irrelevant. You could get this information some other time. It's irrelevant. We're talking
it's
about.
Relevant. It's relevant.
What this is a red herring.
It is relevant.
What this is a red
it's
herring.
Not a red
we're
herring.
on the part of the conversation when we're talking about your perceived importance, and instead of just saying you've given the rationale why you're one of the most important people in the history of the world, you've given the rationales why you're one of the most important people in the history of the world, which raises the obvious question then, as one of these people that's most important in the history of the world. I'm not trying to strawman you. Isn't that what you're saying? Are you the only person that is successfully given information that could literally save the human race?
The only reason I am important in this is because I'm the one who discovered this information.
So what? That would be like saying anything. Any important historical figure. We could say the only reason Jesus was important was because he was born the Son of God. Yes, that's true. That's why he is important, but he's clearly important. The why is irrelevant. This would make you, as the sole person who discovered and the only person who has imparted and understands the importance of imparting this information, this would make you one of the most important people in the world. You are the only person who was able to discover the information that could save the human race, and you are the only person actively going out and telling people this information.
Rob, what's more important than the human race being alive?
Okay, that's an irrelevant response to what I just said.
It's absolutely relevant,
It is not irrelevant. If I say yes, no, and you say, but isn't it important?
Irrelevant because it debunks your whole position.
It doesn't debunk anything in my position. I could say,
yes, it does.
Watch, I'll agree with everything you say. Go ahead, ask your question.
Okay, Rob, if everything I'm saying is true and my information is relevant, it's the most absolute relevance, yes?
Most important thing in the history of the world. Totally agree.
Oh, great! If you agree, it's the most important information the information I bring is the most important thing in the history of humanity.
Yep.
Then I'm correct.
Absolutely, you're 100% correct. Oh, by the way, that makes you great. That means I'm correct that you're one of the most important people in the history of the world, right?
Only because what? Because of why?
Why does the only matter? Why does it matter? Yes or no? Are you one of the most important people? Is Jesus Christ the most important person in the history of the world?
I'm
asking a different question now. Is Jesus Christ the most important person in the history of the world?
Jesus Christ?
Yes.
Yes, in the biblical
but only because he's God's son, right?
Yes.
Okay, does that change the fact that he's the most important person?
But why is he important?
Because he's God's son. Does that change the fact? Does that change the fact? That is why he's important, because he is the way, the light, the truth. That he died on the cross for our sins so we could. But he's only that because he's the Son of God.
He's only important because he brings salvation. He's the Son of God, right?
Okay. Does that change the fact? Does that change the fact that he is the most important person?
If he wasn't that, he wouldn't be important, right?
Correct.
So the only reason
he is that, and he is important. So if someone were to ask you, is Jesus the most important person in the history of the world? And they said, well, only because blah, blah, blah. You would, or if someone asked me that, I would say, yes, but he's still the most important. We could discuss why all day. It doesn't change the fact that, yes, he's the most important. It's the same thing I'm talking to you. So if we, for example, were having a conversation, if we are alive at the time of Jesus, we said, we must protect this man at all costs. And someone said, why? And I said, because he's the most important person in the history of the world. And someone said, well, that's only because he's the Son of God and brings salvation. Right. How does that change my argument that he must be protected? It doesn't. That's the discussion I'm having with you. You're clearly one of the most important people in the history of the world. So why are you doing things like willing to put your face out there and willing to shitpost and do things like that? Willing to say things that will hamper your very important message on evolution, like we should stone gay people. Why are you willing to do that to hamper your? And instead of being able to engage in that discussion, you just constantly deflect. So I say, aren't you one of the most important people?
Ironic.
And you say only because. Well, saying only because, yeah, you're giving us the reason, but you're admitting, yes, you are one of the most important people in the history of the world. Yes or no?
Great. Rob,
yes or no? Are you one of the most? Now we're on like minute 15 of you being unwilling to just answer this question. Rob. Are you one of the most important people in the history of the world?
Yes, and you agree,
Rob,
because I bring the information.
Yes. So then I'll ask you again, why are you willing to put so the government knows this, so they're willing to kill you, right?
Because of the information that I bring, right?
Okay, it doesn't matter why. The why,
no,
the why is irrelevant.
The why is very important, Rob.
The why is irrelevant. It is irrelevant. It is irrelevant. It is irrelevant.
It's extremely relevant, Rob.
Last chance, last chance, you're going to get, right? It is irrelevant to the fact that you are one of the most important people, and they're trying to kill you.
Why, Rob? What's the why?
Because of your salvation, because you discovered this brilliant theory of evolution to save us all.
What's the why, Rob?
Why does the why matter? Why does it matter?
Rob? It's crucial to the whole argument.
It is not crucial. It has nothing to do with the argument.
You're trying to straw man.
It has nothing to do.
Yes,
I'm not
yes,
trying
it does.
To straw man.
You're trying to straw man.
I don't believe that you're this super genius that came up with this thing of evolution and debunked it all and it's crucial saving all humanity. I don't believe it. But I'm saying, for the sake of argument, what you believe is the why is because you discovered the debunking.
Are you saying the why is false?
Yes, I'm absolutely saying you're fucking delusional in your concept of evolution.
So mutations don't happen, Rob.
Yes, mutations happen. That doesn't matter. So you're saying
Rob,
that I'm wrong.
But
wait, isn't it true that people... Wait a minute, aren't people short? Isn't it true? Isn't it true that people are short? Isn't that true? Yes or no?
Yes.
Aren't there true?
Well, then clearly.
Mutation. Oh, so you're saying so then you're a narcissist. Okay? You're a narcissistic fool.
Rob,
you're a narcissistic fool. You're a narcissistic fool that's full of grandeur. That's what you are. You're completely full of shit. You're absolutely fucking delusional. You're hateful, spiteful, and you're a coward, which is probably the worst thing of all. That's what you are. That's absolutely what you are.
I'm a bigot. Yeah, being a bitch is not good.
I didn't say you were a bigot. That's not something I said.
Rob, do you think being a midget is good? You think?
Wait a minute. Wait, don't you admit they're short people?
You're talking about midgets, right?
Don't you admit that they're short people?
Yeah, midgets.
Okay, then I'm right. You're a narcissistic, arrogant coward.
Yeah, you think midgets are good.
But wait a minute. Wait.
Rob,
You've just admitted short people exist, so therefore you're a narcissistic, arrogant coward.
Rob, do you think being midgets is good?
It's irrelevant to the question. You've already...
Yes, it's relevant to the question, Rob. Stop dodging.
It is not.
Stop dodging, Rob.
Short people exist.
Are being midgets good or bad?
It's irrelevant to the question. I don't have to.
It's absolutely relevant. You're dodging and strawmanning because you lost the argument.
Do short people exist?
Midgets.
Then you've proved that you're a moron. You've approved that you're a moron and nothing you say is true.
Is being a midget good or bad?
Short people exist.
Being a midget.
Short people exist, so you've proven that you're a narcissistic coward moron. So it doesn't matter anything you say. Why would you listen to someone who's clearly... Would you listen to someone that's been proven to be clearly a narcissistic coward moron?
Rob, being a midget is bad.
Would you listen to someone that's admitted to being a narcissistic coward moron?
It's so laughable that you can't say that.
Would you listen to someone who's a narcissistic coward moron? Would you listen to a person that has admitted that they're a narcissistic coward moron?
Well, Rob, I'm listening to you right now.
I haven't admitted that. You have.
Rob, you are.
You admitted. I never admitted it. You did.
Rob,
you did admit
being a midget is good?
Would you listen to someone? Rob? Would you listen to someone that's admitted they're a narcissistic coward moron?
Rob, I'm listening to you right now.
Would you listen to... I never admitted it. You did. Would you listen to someone who admitted that they're a narcissistic coward moron?
It's you, man.
I never admitted it. You did. Would you listen to someone who admitted they're a narcissistic?
When did I say I was a narcissist?
You admitted it. Didn't you admit that there are short people?
Rob, I said being...
Didn't you admit that there are short people? Didn't you admit short people exist?
Being a midget is bad.
Didn't you admit that short people exist?
Being a midget is bad.
Didn't you admit that short people exist?
I admit it.
Okay, so then you admit that you're a narcissistic coward moron. There you go. That's as stupid as you saying, well, Rob, clearly I'm right about being the salvation of the human race because I'm the only person that's discovered the fact that I could debunk evolution because mutations exist. And if you admit mutations exist, that means you have to agree with everything I'm saying. No, admitting that something that obviously exists doesn't prove that your entire theory of, well, what's happening is the government has pushed the theory of evolution because they want to forge mutations and then they know those mutations will ultimately destroy the human race and therefore we have to say mutations exist only to destroy the human race. That's why they're there and evolution therefore can't be true. No, none of that is proven just because of the fact that, quote, mutations exist. Just as unreasonable as it would be for me to say, well, if you admit short people exist, then that means all of my arguments are correct. That's the stupidity. The truth is, and because you're unwilling to have a conversation, the truth is the reason that there are so many contradictions what you're saying, that you're saying, I speak the word of God, but you're a coward and unwilling to put your name to it. But then at the same time, you're saying the reason I won't do that is because the government would be out to kill me. But then you have to deny when I say, oh, why? Well, because I'm so important. And I say, but if you're so important, why would you put your face out there? Wouldn't the government already know your name? And you're like, well, they don't know now. But the reason there's so many contradictions to that is because as follows, because you're a fucking coward. That's why. Because you're a narcissist. You're someone who thinks they're way smarter than they actually are. You're someone that's pushing absolute bullshit tripe that wants to sound like an edgelord online. And you're someone that knows that if you came out with your beliefs of things like, I want to stone gay people and I'm one of the most important people in the history of the world because I've single-handedly debunked evolution, you would be laughed at in your real life. You would be laughed at in your place of employment. You would be embarrassment to those around you. You know that, and you're fearful of those things because you're not strong in your convictions. And so that's why you have seemingly all these contradictory things and you have to hide behind a cloak of anonymity. That's what it's about. Because you're too much of a fucking coward to go out there and say, my name's Jim Smith, this is my place of employment, and you're fucking right, we should stone all gay people. Because you're a fucking coward. You're like the neo-Nazi that wants to march, or the Antifa person that wants to march with the mask on their face. You're a fucking coward. And that's not something that's very godlike. That's not a trait that's to be identified with. And other people might have forms of cowardice. You may claim I'm a coward because I won't fully embrace what you interpret as the word of God. And that's fine. But at least I'm putting my name and beliefs out there. Not you, though. Not you. You'll be a tough guy that criticizes other people and say, I'm the man. I'm brave. I'm putting out the real word of God. That's what I'm doing. I'm one of the most important people in the history of the world. But I can't use my real name. I can't. Because, I'm fearful because the government's out to get me. You're fucking delusional. That's what you are. You're absolutely delusional. Okay, we'll give you a chance to respond.
Rob, what causes cancer?
I don't know. Why don't you tell us? Evolution?
Mutations.
Cool.
What causes people to be midgets?
I don't know.
Mutations.
Okay.
What causes autism?
I don't know. Go for it.
Mutations.
What causes
You're starting
mutations?
to see a pattern here?
What
You're starting to see a pattern?
What causes mutations?
Freaking being out in the sun too much.
Oh.
Eating the wrong thing.
Being out in the sun too much is what's causing
cancer.
cancer.
Rob, it's the problem is that these mutations are getting passed on and are accumulating.
Yep.
Great.
Gotcha. Hey man, thanks for calling. I wish you extreme.
Rob, you're freaking.
I wish you extreme good luck as
man.
one of the most important people in the history of the world.
You got folded because you have no justification for your worldview. Oh, my preferences
were important people in the history of the world. I really wish you well. I really do. And it's a shame that you are infamous because the government's out to get you and it's going to kill you, trying to kill you, and so you can't use your real name and everything. Thanks so much for calling in.